Hello everybody and welcome to the Mortgage Strategy Awards 2020 Best Mortgage Broker webinar brought to you with Virgin Money. Today we'll be talking about leading your broker firm effectively, growth, change and risk.
Thanks Michelle and Sarah for being with us today. Really appreciate you taking the time out of what I know is a very busy time at the moment. So let's dive into the questions. How did lenders support you in the expansion of your business? Michelle, if I ask that to you first.
Yeah, morning everyone. Yes, actually I think lenders play a pivotal part in any business, whether you're growing or not, but potentially if you are growing, it's really important to have really good relationships, so at all levels. And obviously Nicola, over the years you and I have had great relationships and therefore sort of integrated with each other very well from a business perspective. And it really don't underestimate how important it is to have BDMs working closely with advisors and at our level as well to interact, so that we understand totally what your criteria and lending is all about, and basically anything that's going to change, because it really is important if you can be one step ahead in the market, no matter what the market is or how it is.
Brilliant, thanks Michelle, and over to you Sarah.
Yeah, I totally echo what Michelle said. When we launched our BDM, certain lenders were just so crucial in giving me confidence that it was a good idea to go and move forward with. But also once we got going, you got new brokers entering the industry and they are like a deer in headlights when they get their first few leads. Even though they prepared and got so qualified and been trained, it's not the same as when you're in the industry. So BDMs have played such an important role in making them feel valued, showing them the value of having a broker, to a bank as well and to a lender, but supporting them as well, because like Michelle said, you guys, the BDMs, know what's best and what is actually happening behind a lender's doors, much more than criteria and websites can give us. So the BDMs have been one of the main things. I think they're so important.
Yeah, and especially your team at Virgin, Nicola, really know how to integrate with advisors. We're not easy people to work with, I know that. So the better they get to know an advisor, the more business is going to be generated.
Fantastic, that's great to hear.
Sarah, I'd like to ask you a question, if you don't mind answering first. You're here, as is Michelle, because you've successfully grown a business. So I'd like to ask you, what situation, either positive or negative, were you not expecting when you scaled up your business, and how did you deal with it?
It's a hard question actually, but there is things that surprise you. I think certainly delegating was something I thought would be much easier than it is, to actually let go of tasks, because you have your own expectations, you have your own standards, we all do, and we're all different. So to let go of things I thought would be really easy, but actually wasn't. But you have to be able to let go of the things that other people can do for you, and leverage your time so that you can upscale your business and think bigger and bolder and better. And so that was quite hard for me actually. But also managing people, everybody comes with their own story and their own filter and their own way that they need to be managed. And you kind of think everybody's going to be similar to you, I suppose, and you have to be able to be malleable, manage everybody completely differently. And we're looking at brokers all across the market, all across the UK, and also different areas have different ways of being. So I'm from Essex, and I'm very used to very open, and we talk a lot, but some of my ladies from up north aren't necessarily like that in their areas, or their areas are a little bit like, I don't want to be on, they don't want to see me online, and they don't want to see videos of me because they're not quite there yet. They're a bit more old fashioned. So that surprised me as well, how you assume the whole UK is in the same place, but they're really not. Different regions are in different places, and Essex is quite forward thinking really. So yeah, there's been loads though.
That's really interesting, thanks. And Michelle, have you had a similar experience or something different?
Yeah, I think Sarah's spot on actually, and it's for me, I didn't realise how competitive I actually was, and what a control freak I actually was, stroke am. And it does bring all sorts out of you from a emotion point of view. So it really puts you to the test. And it's a case of, when the going gets tough, and you either survive or you don't. But so positive or negative, I would say HR is a big thing, because the more people that you bring into your business, the more diversity that you have. Sort of what you were saying, Sarah, that not when you have a very small business and you can control everyone, it's very hard when you do grow and expand, because you've got different types of people in your business that you maybe have never sort of had to deal with a certain personality, etc. So it does challenge you from that point of view. On the other hand, from a positive note, it's very exciting. Very exciting, growing something from nothing, and from that you get massive rewards. So I've loved most of it. The journey has been a very exciting one, but you also get challenges from all sorts of areas thrown at you that you would never in a million years think you would have to deal with. But in the main, it's been a fantastic experience, and I've loved every minute.
Thanks very much.
Perfect. So what about the risks? What risks did you have to mitigate that are actually still present today? And if I ask you, Michelle?
Yeah, risk is, I suppose, regulation. And always has been there, obviously always will. In our industry, we've had so much change. So that, from a risk perspective, it's the change, I think, because and the unknown, because you just do not know what is going to hit you as a business. And especially in our industry, we've got so much that happens, and change comes every single year. I mean, who would have expected this year? So the risk is, for me, it's continuous regulation and the changes in regulation, but also changes in the industry. Training is always an ongoing thing, so we have to make sure that we train people to mitigate any risk that we may have potentially thrown at us at any point. So yeah, in a nutshell, I would say the risk, that's the risk. And I suppose the risk overall is making sure that you are running a very good business that's got, that you strive to have a great reputation for. And the risk for me is not being the best, because obviously I want to be the best, so therefore everybody in the business needs to be the best as well. So the risk for me is not being the best.
Perfect. And Sarah?
I think for us, our major risk is people's mental health, especially this year. When I launched the business, working from home looked completely different. We were doing things like Zoom and Teams, and we were doing everything like this around the school runs, just to give people the opportunity to be flexible. And that was great, but I did not anticipate COVID happening. And we went from overnight being a bit of a niche in how we managed and advised our customers, but also how we managed our staff, to being completely normal. Everybody's doing it, everybody's using Zoom and Teams for everything. And all of a sudden, our mums, who were quite happily working around the school run, had their kids at home overnight. So that has been our biggest risk, is me managing their mental health, because I got everybody on a Zoom call straight away as soon as we knew the school was shutting the next day. And I remember doing like just a bit of a women's circle, just saying one at a time, how are you feeling, what's going on for you? And there were tears, people were anxious, some people were like braving it out, some people were in denial, and there were so many emotions. And emotions are risky because they're so out of control, and then they're not in my control to be able to make sure everyone's all right. But ultimately, if they're not okay, that is our responsibility as well. So during this year, that's been the hardest thing to manage, is obviously I want to keep the business afloat. I want to keep us thriving and surviving what's happening in the industry and keeping on top of it and keeping motivated. But I'm also aware they've got their children in the background, they're anxious, they might need time out. So that has been a big thing for us to manage this year, that I definitely didn't see coming, and I definitely didn't think we'd have to work out how to realistically tell them to do their job and homeschool and be teachers definitely didn't think that would be what I'd be doing this year, but yeah, I don't think I expected it. But to be honest, they are in a good place now, so I think we've done all right.
Fantastic.
Sarah, if I could keep you on the mic for a second, I'd just like to ask, did the things that you look for in lenders change as your business expanded?
I don't think it did. Always our customer is at the forefront of what we're doing, and it's always about what's best for them. I guess service levels plays a major factor in our advice at the moment, because everything is delayed and clients do want to know how lenders are reacting. So there's certain lenders that are doing better than others, I suppose, but it's always got to be down to the client, and that hasn't changed now or before everything happened. It's just about which lenders are being brave and bold, and those lenders for me have stood out, the ones that have tried to be brave during this time, which I know isn't easy, but they have stood out for us for that reason. And then, you know, there's others that unfortunately tried to be brave and then got a little bit blacklisted because of the service they were then giving to everybody. And you can't, as a broker, you remember the nightmare lenders, and so there has to be a bit of a balance, but ultimately it comes down to clients. So whatever's best for the client is still the number one.
Thanks. That's really interesting. And Michelle, the same question to you: are the things you look for in lenders, do they change as your business grows?
I think the principle of it is the same. I think you become, certainly I did, became more demanding, because the busier we got as a business and the bigger that we grew, like I said before, you get different challenges, etc. But therefore you do become more demanding, because you want to provide the best service that you possibly can for your clients. And when I say more demanding, really it was just a case of working closely again with the lenders to make sure that we're all in sync with each other, so we know how to deliver a service and expectations to clients. And the other thing I suppose really is, as you grow, you expand into different areas of lending, larger loans, for example, buy-to-let, specialist buy-to-lets. So it's all an education process, which we do lean on our lenders for, in terms of helping us to educate our advisors. So yeah, that's how I would sum it up in a nutshell.
Thank you. A very interesting nutshell that was too.
Brilliant. And if I could just move to, here's the killer question. Is now a good time to start a business or pursue rapid growth?
Is that to me again? Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Right. Well, if I told you that I set up in 2008, when I don't think that our industry was in a worse position, maybe actually this year could be worse, then I would encourage anyone to set up their own business at any point, because I don't actually believe there is a good time to set up a business or a bad time, to be honest with you. It's just when it's right for you, and you will know when it's right for you, because you have to give it your life and soul, and that is not an exaggeration. You have to go through the sleepless nights, the blood, sweat and tears to have to nurture a great team to become a great business, which I feel that's where we've got, and or where we've come to. But yeah, as I said, to sum it up, really, I think go for it if you've got the confidence and you feel it's right for you, because back in 2008 the lending issue was a totally different kettle of fish to what it is at the moment. So it almost seems a little bit of a breeze, really, this situation that we're in at the moment compared to what we had in 2008. But you know what? If you've got the confidence in yourself and your team, you shouldn't be worried about anything that hits you as a business, because you just work at it. And okay, we might have killed ourselves practically this year, but if you've worked with your team long enough and got them in such a place that they follow what you want them to do, and you're the leader of the business, and you just, as I said, you're just drenched in passion to get through the situation that we've experienced this year, you'll get through the other end. So I suppose we're focusing on the negatives. There's lots and lots of positives. It's just at the moment, I'm sure everyone is struggling to see all the positives. But so yes, go for it would be my recommendation at any point.
Brilliant. Thanks, Michelle. And Sarah, what advice would you give?
Yeah, I do agree. I think some of the bravest business owners, most successful people in the world, tend to do things opposite the trend. So they tend to start a business when everybody's running from starting businesses. So I think there's something to be said for being bold and courageous. And there's nothing that's in our control. You know, if this year's taught us anything, it's that you can plan and plan and plan and plan, but things happen that's outside of our control in life. And it's about being adaptable. It's about holding a vision. And if you have a really good idea, you can wait and wait and wait for the right time to start it, but ultimately it tends not just come and grab hold of you. You tend to have to leap first. So I do think now's a good time, because people really appreciate the work they have. You know, there's some people that have not got, or their businesses have been blown out by what's happened. People are really taking notice of what it is that they're doing and how much value are they bringing to the world with their job. And so it's a real time of reset, I think, at the moment. People are sitting back going, am I happy? Am I happy in my life? Am I happy with my business? You know, I'm home a lot. Am I happy at home? It's a complete time of reflection. So why not now? Yeah, where people are getting clarity, really real clarity on their lives. And so business ideas are going to come, I think, from this time, just from people having the space to exit their normal treadmill, jump off it. And once you jump off it, you suddenly go, well, I haven't actually taken stock of my life for years. I've just been going and going and going and going. So yeah, I think it's a great time to start. I think any time's a good time to start. You just have to have a vision. You have to have some balls to jump and take a leap of faith. And hopefully, yeah, it will work out for you if you do.
And if I may just add, in the face of adversity, we all know that saying, and let's face it, at the moment, we're actually in the eye of it. Who would have thought that we would be breaking records with where we are today? So I rest my case. It's all about the drive, I think.
Yeah. And you know what, in this industry, in this industry, I think certainly, it's such a resilient industry. The mortgage industry is amazing. The people in it are amazing. The way we all come together in times of crisis is amazing. And it's been through a lot. You know, the industry's been through so many ups and downs, and this will just be another one where it will bounce back. It will be an amazing part of the overall story. And everybody always needs a home, and they're always going to need a mortgage. So it is a very resilient market. I think you just got to have faith in it and just ride it out.
You're absolutely right. Thank you, Bo.
Great. I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time out of their busy days to take part in this webinar. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.